Good evening, Dolphin fans. Welcome to another the post-game show. I can't even say Finn's bandwagon. Welcome to the post-game show. I'm your host today, FinStanza. With me always is my partner, my pops, Fish Tank Hank, and my long-lost brother, Michael Vogel. What's up, you two?
What's up, Buzz? What's up,
How you doing,
fellas?
guys? You guys
What's
doing
going
well?
on? It's going to be a great day today. Oh, it
phenomenal.
already is.
Guys, welcome. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. It wasn't pretty at moments, but the Miami Dolphins did what we all wanted them to do. They went into MetLife takeover, and they picked up a big win against the stinking New York Jets, 34-13. The score doesn't really define how that game went, but in the end, it was a W. Hank, I'll go to you first. What were your thoughts of the game?
As far as the defense goes, I was elated on how we did, actually. I mean, we had a couple hiccups. Everybody does every game. I mean, but looking overall, I mean, we were on fire. And even after Phillips went down, Ogba stepped it up. So I was really amazed by the defense. I was a little concerned that Tua threw a couple interceptions, though. You know what I mean? I was a little concerned about that, because he seems to struggle a little bit on these upper echelon defenses to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
But he still came out and he came back from adversity. And, hey, we got the big W with some big points on the board. We left 14 points on the board in the first half, in my opinion. We didn't get those 14 points that we could have in the first half. Other than that, I think we played a pretty solid game all the way around.
Oh, great. Then, Michael, guys, just to let you know.
Hey, to let you know, before you go crazy, and that includes Sanders with his 50-something yards.
Hey, I'm going to get there.
54. 54.
We'll get to that. But in Canadian dollars, it's only 37 yards, okay? Before we get to Vogel.
Well, I still had to give you a hard time because he made it.
I almost gave crap to Bobby because I was wondering where my beautiful overlay. He just snuck in and changed the overlay for me because I was waiting for my graphic. Guys, don't forget Black Friday. Go check out Caneswear. They have amazing stuff. I'm wearing most of the stuff. It's phenomenal. I'm literally wearing them head to toe. Caneswear is awesome. You guys can get them anywhere. It doesn't matter where you live. Vogel, it's been a while. It's a pleasure to be with the two of you. The floor is yours. We're going to go into ins and outs of all the game, but how do you feel after picking up this dub?
Well, I mean, pretty good with considering every year Miami seems to stink it up when they go up to New York. Mm-hmm. So I was confident because our defense was playing a lot better. And I didn't believe in the Jets offense. Like when you just see Bob Saleh after every four and out, and just like, what are we doing? Like, it's just like, I don't know how he holds it together, to be honest. I don't know how he just the Johnsons and just say, I'm done with this. I can't keep going. So I'm glad they won. We continue to beat the teams that we need to beat. I saw somebody, it may have been Ryan Clark, posted the Cowboys and the Dolphins keep beating the teams that they're supposed to, but not the teams that they should beat.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
And for me, the way I look at it, is we need to beat every team that we're supposed to beat now, and then we can worry about beating the good teams once we get to the playoffs. So, I mean, granted, we want to win all the games from here on out, but in the grand scheme of things, we're beating the teams that we're supposed to beat, and we're not pulling a Chiefs or a Bills and losing to the Jets and losing to the Patriots and losing to, who this, that, and the third of the teams that aren't very good. So I'm glad to come out. I hate that we had an injury or two that damn turf field has claimed yet another person.
Okay, let's just bring that. I just want to get it out of the way before we talk about it, just because we'll talk about it a little later, but just to give people something, and everyone who's watching, because I think Thirsty's worried about to hear from me, but I just want to get it out of the way since in case people might be interested in this. Since 2020.
Yep.
Because of the fact that we're, I just want to be clear, everyone. Hard Rock Stadium is grass. Let's be clear. It's grass.
Yep.
Since 2020, here's a partial list of notable players who have been hurt at MetLife. Nick Bosa, ACL tear. Solomon Thomas, ACL tear. Jimmy Garoppolo, ankle sprain. Raheem Mostert, MCL tear. Sterling Shepard, Achilles tear. Sterling Shepard, ACL tear. Wan'Dale Robinson, ACL tear. Blake Martinez, Achilles tear. Shane Lemieux, partial tendon tear. Jabril Peppers, ACL tear. Carl Fuller, ACL tear. Aaron Rodgers, ACL tear. Al Woods, Achilles tear. Jalen Phillips, tuba determined. But the thing is that it's up to the union. They're going to have to give and take with the owners, but this is something they have to do because they're hurting their livelihood here.
I agree.
It's very, very dangerous. It's like I actually make a joke sometimes. My kid who plays hockey. When we play on ice that was actually shared with figure skaters and they're playing because it's kids, they struggle on that ice versus a pure hockey ice because the divots that you're feeling when you're skating, it's not smooth. Right. And that's what happens when you're fielding on these shirts. It is a non-contact injury. He was literally in his stance. You coach football, Mike. He was literally in his stance, and he stopped pop.
Yep.
It's just an absolute shame. We'll get to that a little later.
Yeah.
A W is a W. Thirsty is concerned about what I'm going to say. But let's get it out of the way right now because it's the positive. I'm very proud of Jason Sanders. I'm hard on him. The guy got 10 points. The 54-yarder. Muzzle tub, 38 yards, but that 54-yarder, by the way, not even for me. I always said to the guy looking at the road, did you see the smile on his face? Go back and watch that game.
Yeah.
He had the biggest weight taken off his shoulders. He is so thankful he kicked that field goal because he knows what would have been the reaction had he not made that. But did you happen to notice it was sort of like one of those curves? It was sort of it came in. When you go golfing for the first time and you
slice it. Yeah.
He sliced it, but came back around. It was perfect. But let me go to you, Hank, first. Okay, so the offense.
Yes, sir.
The offense was finally we had a balanced attack. I know a lot of it was in garbage time, but we had more. We had 37 carries, and we only had 30 passes. We had 2 sacks, whatever. Let's just start with the Tua for a second. I want to get your perspective. Let's just go with each row down. Tua, let's get it out of the way.
All right.
What is going on with Tua in your mind? McDaniel said in the press conference, he blames himself for these plays because that's what they're going to do. The quarterback has to be the best player on the field. What do you think's going on with him with these turnovers lately? What do you think's going on?
Well, I mean, each turnover is different, Each one has a different story, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And some of them are bad and his fault, and some of them aren't his fault. But in this case, he threw a couple picks, and, it happens. You can't have a perfect outing every single time, and a couple interceptions isn't bad. It's not like he threw 4. You know what I mean? There are a lot of people that go out there and throw 3, 4 a game. So two's max where I'd like to see him go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, I'm not concerned. People say that they're concerned that when he goes against tougher defenses. I'm not concerned about that personally. But there is a lot of people out there saying that, at least on Twitter and, across social media. But I believe he'll be fine. And I think when we get settled in, especially playing the Cowboys at home and a few other games that people are concerned with how we're going to do, et cetera. I think after we win those in a solid way, then we won't have to worry about all the conjecture and, this and that.
Michael, refute what Raphael just wrote.
I mean, he's not a handicap. He's better than any quarterback that we've had in the last since Marino. I mean, he's by far the best quarterback we've had since Marino.
Yeah.
Does he make stupid decisions sometimes that you just want to rip your hair out? The pick 6, they drive me crazy. But at the same time, after he threw the second interception, and then I think it was maybe the first possession of the second, or it was after the first interception, and they were on the 20-yard line going, on their own 20.
Yeah.
And he still threw a anticipation throw, right? I'm like, if I throw the first pick 6, I'm not throwing that ball again. And he can clean it out of his head and throw it. And that damn dime he threw to Waddle on the sideline,
Yeah,
that was very impressive. So, I mean,
definitely.
I think people need to back off a little bit. Your team is 8-3. We've got a quarterback that we can win with.
The guy's got nothing but a winning record, Mike.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
So
He
I
is a
don't
winning
understand
quarterback.
everybody's gripe.
Yeah. I think the gripe is, I think it's the whole, go back to the whole thing with the one read. And it was more that I think all of us could see when he threw that ball to the sidelines, and Michael can do this because he coaches. It was predictable what might happen because there was no velocity on that throw.
Yeah.
And he was throwing to the sidelines versus throwing where he's comfortable. And it was just one of those things where it was a very, you know what I called it to somebody when someone texted me? It was very Mike White-like. It was in that Carolina Panthers game, Mike, Hank, we were there. Remember when he came in garbage time, he turned and he basically, because to his strength is not knowing where he's going to go. Here he decided where he was going, but he stared it down.
Yeah, he did. He looked at the whole time. He just looked left, and apparently that dude did it to him his rookie year too.
Yeah.
Pick six.
Yeah. So, but overall, I think you know what? It's a dub. People are not throwing him under the bus. He still did his job. He still threw to Waddle and Hill. We're going to get to them in a minute. He still spread the ball around. They did what they had to do. Great. Running game. Finally against the 29th ranked defense, garbage time. I want to ask Vogel and Hank about this. They ran for 167. It was nice to see Jeff Wilson pounding the rock down the middle. Mm-hmm. It was nice to see Raheem Mostert. Did you see Raheem Mostert on that touchdown? How he was trying, come get me. Okay, I'm going to go in. But let me ask you guys, what is the concern I have right now on that offense before we get to the offensive line and the receivers is the short yardage situation. So bring me down on a ledge about the fact that Mike McDaniel seems to not want to. He finally did it at one point, and it worked. Why do you think on third and 1, 3rd and 2? Because if you look at the stats today, they were better on 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, and they were on 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. Mm-hmm. Why do you think, Hank? I'll have you go first. Why do you think they're struggling on short yardage like that? Why do you think it's such an Achilles heel of this team?
I mean, you're constantly missing players from that line. Yeah. You don't have a full and steady line on there. And then you saw Armstead go out. I mean, things like that just hurt a team, and there's nothing you can do about it. I understand it's next man up.
Yeah.
But, you have Pro Bowlers starting, and you have people that are okay to be in the NFL backing up. Okay. Yeah. So you can't take away the Pro Bowlers and expect the same exact results. And that's my opinion, where we're missing a few times here and there is just because we have to put things together. There he is.
Oh, hello.
You kicked out you were rude. Look at this guy. He kicks out Vogel to see his beautiful face.
What did I do? I'm sorry.
You kicked Vogel out, but I had to change the graphic. And by the way, you were a little Johnny around the I click on 17 different graphics. I go, where's my graphic?
First of all, I did update the graphic. It just didn't load up. So that's why I came back and I looked. I was wondering where you had the big one over Hank's face. Fish tank! What's up, my boy?
Hey!
So, Vogel, if you wouldn't mind, because he's the founder, he's El Jefe.
What's up, my man?
Bobby, what's up, buddy?
Give me a take. We talked about. I'll give you a little synopsis. I'm going to give you a couple quick things. You tell us how you're feeling. How do you feel about the win? How do you feel about the criticism on Tua for continuing to throw turnovers? The balanced attack of the running game, and our concerns about short yardage situations right now. Those are the type of topics that we've talked about so far.
Love the jacket.
Love the jacket.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. In regard to, look, I was talking about it today with Alex when we were watching the game. First off, in regard to the turnovers by the interceptions, the 2 interceptions by Tua, I heard Fish Tank's response. I will say, look, those turnovers against these teams, you could get by them. You don't want to have that against those superior to Cowboys, the Ravens. However, the problem with those things that he has to grow out of, it always seems like he's eyeing down the receiver. As soon as you see him call hike, he is eyeing down who his target is. Waddle was over the top, and he goes to Barrow. It's intercepted. Then the next interception is the same way. It was a tighter pass. It got took. The difference between, though, in this football game, you're watching this game, that usually will put a game away, or that will give the game away. Here's the difference between this year's Miami Dolphins and years prior Dolphin teams.
Yeah.
He gives up the interception twice, 2 interceptions, which again, I talked about it before the game. I said it with the guys, with the family in here. I said 2 of this year, his interceptions, he's has more interceptions in a short amount of time than he's had ever. And maybe it's a pandemic around the league, an epidemic, but he is for sure not being his normal self when it comes to protecting the football. And he did that in this game. He had some mental errors that in prior years, no matter who the quarterback is or was, will cost you. But look what our defense was able to do. Look how they were to stifle the Jets offense, who is, we know what the Jets offense is. I know it's Tim Boyle, but they did what they were supposed to do against that quarterback, against that team. They dominated. They scored points. The only reason why the Jets came away with points in reality, of course, it was garbage points, but was the interception in the pick six.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why. But other than that, overall, the Dolphins' overall dominance and performance was what protected them from those interceptions, those turnovers. And again, the balanced attack, staying with running the football, they have to continue doing that, especially with how Tua's been playing with those little minor mistakes. And again, here's the thing people have to remember. The Jets defense, no matter what you think of the Jets overall, the Jets defense is top 10. And what they showed today, what they could do and what they did. And what they were able to do.
66 points in the last 2 games, though. That's pretty awful.
It is. Overall. It's been tough. Oh, hold on one second. Alex is here. I don't know
Bam still sucks. Bam still sucks.
Bam still sucks. But no, you got some head scratches in there. You come away with going, man, okay, we got to fix this. We got to clean this up. But overall, for them to put up those points against that defense, for your defense to add 6 points with Javon Hollywood, an amazing. I mean, that would
Ed Reed-like. That was Ed Reed-like.
Let's get a token interception right here. We just need a token interception because it's going into halftime. It's over. You don't expect that. And also, interception goes 99 yards for a touchdown, and I was like, whoa!
And you could see the interception coming too, Bobby. You could see him lining up Holland when they were showing it.
Yeah.
He was lining up for it, and I was like, oh, boy, this could be a good one.
Oh, my God.
I didn't realize he was going to take it to the house.
The phenomenal blocking. The defense did not give up. The defense was blocking their asses off when they were trying to score that tutty.
Yeah. I think the other thing, it feels like that this team is smarter than teams past, like Holland. He said when they interviewed him after the game, he said, I think people forget that I'm a punt returner too. And so he said, when I saw the interception coming, I just started watching where everybody was at. He said, all the fast skill people were in the end zone. He said, I just had to beat a couple of guys. And then he said, I had to outrun Wilkins so he could get a block for me because Wilkins was way ahead of him too. So,
I want to just point out because I agree on this, I want to get this out of the way. I've never seen a guy clutch and grab like Sauce Gardner. Because if you go back and watch that replay, the reason why Tyreek dropped that ball is because Sauce pulled him. He literally grabbed his jersey. This guy grabs onto everything that this guy possibly can.
The old stretch out.
Yeah.
Now, from a coaching standpoint, I wonder if McDaniel says anything, because in high school we would. If we saw Gardner doing that play after play, head coach goes up to the officials before the game and says, look, number one over there keeps grabbing jerseys. Make sure make sure you get one for us because it's going to happen like crazy. So it is kind of every time they play him, he's always grabbing Hill and never gets flagged for it. So.
Okay, because Bobby's here, he gets a chance. Hey, Bobby, come after me on number 7. 10 points today, buddy. 10 points.
10 points. I said it. So the first 3 points, I was like, there you go, right there.
Did you see him curve it, though? Did you see him curve it in?
I see it. Hey, I saw it was in MetLife in New York. And
Did you see the look on his face? Did you see the look on his face?
I saw
was not breathing. He wasn't breathing.
He mouthed your name. He went like this. He went like that. I saw him do it. And I saw
something about up yours. It's going through.
That's what I heard.
I am proud of him because you want to know what? He knows he was struggling. He's very aware.
Yeah.
He knows he was struggling. To kick that, to have 250 yards in the last 2 games. By the way, it's huge for him because he needs to be able to do that. He needs to be a key contributor to this team. Even Jake Bailey, he punted well today. He got us. He was very smart. He stayed within the pocket. He got us the penalty. that gave us the extra yardage. Like, it was very, very smart the way they played. It was very, very smart. So, Michael, and I want to ask Bobby, what I finally started to see it because Hank answered it a little bit. Midway through the game, he finally started running the ball. Today, they actually put up a stat that when they were going for third down conversions, but mind you, guys, that was the best game Tua's thrown. They were 11 for 16 on third down conversions.
Third down conversions, time of possession, offensive plays.
Yeah.
They were beating them in every category.
11 for 16 has been crazy. But what I don't get, they've only realized it, but they were actually struggling. They were actually 0 for 5 at one point on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, 3rd and 2. Unless it was 3rd and 4 or greater, they couldn't convert. Those were their 5 bad conversions. What are your concern? What do you think they need to do to overcome it? Like, would you just because start pounding the rock, or would you just like what do you feel like the play calling has been decent? Like, what do you think it is? Mike, go first.
That's McDaniel, man. That's McDaniel. He's a play caller.
Yeah.
And play callers are going to stay with what they do and what he believes that if he can get the ball into 10's hand under any circumstance, that he's got a chance at getting that first down.
Yeah.
So he's going to do that more times than not. And when it works, we're all excited, we're all happy, and they put up 70 on the Broncos. But then against like the Jets, when it's 4th and 1 on near the goal line and he doesn't make it, then we're like, the points would have been nice there. But at the same time, like now you've got a defense. So we go for it on 4th and 1. Now you've got a defense that can come away with the safety in that situation that they were very nearly, they were so close to having.
Yeah, that was close.
So in that situation, like as an offensive coach that has a stout defense like that, I wouldn't think twice about going for it on 4th down, especially if I've got a defense that's coming together. Now, if we had a defense like last year where we're giving up crazy points, and they're at the 50 in 2 plays, like, then take the points. But I feel like with as strong as the defense is coming, Wilkins was getting all kinds of nasty push today.
So you were okay with that 4th and 1 going for it on that first day against the Jets? Bobby and Hank, I personally just would have taken the 3 there just because I knew who we were playing.
Was it 4th and 1 on that down?
It was 4th and 1 on that one on the 1 2 or 3.
See, I know we kicked the field goal on 4th and 1. I thought we went for it on 4th and something. And
no, it was 4th and 1 on the second.
The very first series was 4th.
The first series was 4th and 1.
I will say what I said when during the game I did say go for it. I said it's 4th and 1 at the
go for it.
Did you like the throw? You like that throw though?
I was surprised they didn't go for it.
But
I said run the ball. I wanted them to run the ball. Run the ball.
They've got several.
What did they finish?
No, go ahead.
7 or 9 sacks today.
7 sacks. Okay, I was going to wait for the defense, but right now we had 7 sacks, and 8 tackles for loss.
Yeah, you see.
And then we also had 12 quarterback hits.
Wow.
1 touchdown return. We had 39, and we had 51 tackles today. 39 solo. Like, it was an absolute destruction.
Let me just follow up with that because Fish Tank and I have been talking this for weeks and throughout the season about our defense and getting to the quarterback. And we have talked about how, like, if you just watch the game, you come away from the game or you think of a couple games, you don't even think about it. But sneakily, like if you look at the numbers, the Dolphins are they're in the top 10 of rushing the quarterback. I think they're 9th or something. Now look where they are. They're past 30 some odd sacks for the season. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but what they were able to do today is what you want to see from this defense. And Vogel, I know, believes in this. I know I do. Obviously the trenches. But defense wins championships.
100%.
And when you have the number one offense in football, that has to be honest, truth to God, is not playing like they should be playing. We know how they should play, and you still win in this fashion with this defense. Imagine if they figure it out on both sides of the ball, the type of game they could be. That's what I'm saying.
Guys, they're really going at it.
They do it.
Yeah,
it's going to happen.
We're going to come to the defense.
I hope it happens during the Dallas Cowboys game.
Yeah, I just want to get back to because there's a lot going on in the chat between Scotty and Raphael.
Dude, you guys are just like if we didn't have an O-line and a quarterback. Fine,
no, they're really going at it. So Scotty and Raphael are really going at it over the fact that Allen has 15 and Howell has 15 interceptions. Hurts has 12. Mahomes has 11. Like there is an epidemic issue with interceptions in this league. It's not just Tua.
No, it is. That's what I said. Yeah. I say, look, it's an epidemic, whatever with the quarterbacks. They're throwing a lot of interceptions. But for Tua, Do you hear the footsteps? Oh, you're talking about the Cowboys? All right. Don't worry, Wingate. We got you, brother. It's coming. But let me just say, no, it's true. And that's why, like, it is going around the league. But as Evan said, because Evan always says, oh, but what did this guy do? I'm only worried about our quarterback, what he's doing. I worried about Allen or those guys. And he has to just make better decisions. Dallas
right. They can't win on the road, Dallas.
Bring it.
Dallas can't win on the road. They're a homer team.
On the show,
guys, did you happen to see, before we get into so how proud of you? For me, one of the stout guys today, Mostert had a great game, but the person I was most happy for, and he was doing a crazy dance, I finally got to see the Jeff Wilson I want to see. He is the guy who was pounding the rock up the middle. That is what I want to see. Like, Michael, go first, and Hank, like, what would you, as a guy who likes, how good was it to see a guy who was actually not afraid to go up the middle and take the hits, just take the hits from that D line?
I mean, for me, being an offensive line guy, like, you look at our offensive line, and still we didn't have the starters in there, and then you lose your starting left tackle in the third quarter, and so for us to be able to run the ball to be able to run the ball behind, backups and guys that normally wouldn't be starting in the league anywhere, they hold up pretty well. They only allowed 2 sacks this week. They allowed 1 sack last week against Max Crosby. Like, they played very well against him.
Yeah.
And so when you talk about, like, Mike McDaniel and his coaching staff, I think they do a very good job of coaching. Like, they do a very good job of bringing in young guys, and they've done a phenomenal job of rebuilding that offensive line. I mean, I was one of the first ones when we sat in here during draft season and just was like, we can't win with these guys. And now, they're winning with them. And Austin Jackson,
a lot has to do with the coaching, brother.
Yeah, by far has been a bright spot for me on the offensive line this year. Like, he really has. So it does my heart, man. As long as you can, punt, run the ball, you're doing 2 things. You're helping your defense, and you're running the clock.
They didn't put Lamb in the game. So, Hank, what do you think about what did you think of Wilson's play today?
I loved it. I mean, he came in when we needed it, and he worked. He did his magic just like everybody else today.
Yeah.
I can't give enough credit to the coaches, the O-line, or the running backs today. I think they all did a great job. And, like Michael was saying, a big part of that is, and also El Jefe, we have a big part of that is the coaching and what they've come in and done with these guys. I mean, you've literally had pieces taken out of the middle of your wall, and they just take those guys and put them in and make them work. That's nothing short of amazing, especially with how complex this offense is with all of its motions and everything else. I'm elated at this point in time that we're doing this good with that front line.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't say it. And, it's a combination of everything, though. It's a combination of them gelling together. It's a combination of them working together constantly. It's a combination of the coaching system. It's a combination of what defense we're going against. I mean, there's so many different things that come into it, but in the end, they're making it work. And it's working really good.
Yeah,
and I really feel. I'm sorry, Vogel, but Vogel can follow up because I'm about to bounce. But I just want to say.
No, I want to ask you a question before you go. It's an important.
Okay. Let me just say this about our offensive line. You see what our coaching staff has done. Butch Berry, what he's been able to do with what he's had. Because before the season, all of us, but even during the draft season, Vogel and I on the clock and everything, we talked about our offensive line and addressing our offensive line, the weak spots of this offensive line, and what they've been able to do with the pieces that we've had is nothing short of amazing. So you could imagine what if they think, okay, hey, we're good on the secondary, we're good with here, we got to obviously get some defensive line help, we obviously have to get some pieces in the offensive left guard has to be addressed, maybe whatever. Imagine what they could do with those additional, because there's some good players coming out of the draft on the trenches this year. Yeah. There's a lot of good players coming out.
The left side of the line, Eichenberg, Keon Smith. They were moving the football when bringing Keon Smith because they didn't want to rush Kendall Lamb because of his back. They wanted to give him a break. what he did. Connor Williams, I think, played the best football. I don't think there was one bad snap. Colin
Actually,
had
I was
his
impressed
moments.
with Eichenberg today.
Eichenberg was great. Connor Williams played a phenomenal, perfect game. He played phenomenal. Austin Jackson was actually the guy who was the rough and tumbles. He got thrown out of the football game on that field goal of Trench's thing. The biggest concern before we get to the receivers, the one concern I had throughout the game, and I think Bobby, you saw me talking to Brett a little bit about it, and it was a concern. It was the concern I had on the pregame show, and I want you to go because I think you have to go, and then I want Vogel to talk about it. And Hank, we had a big concern last year, and it's continuing to rear its ugly head the last couple games. Ingold, Smythe, Hill, Connor, Croft, they can't block for their lives. Every time Tua struggled and he was getting sacked, look at who missed the tackle, or who on a screen, who missed the tackle. It was the tight end or it was the fullback. What are we going to do if that's the one area? I don't know if it falls on Butch Berry, if it falls on Frank Smith. What do we do to correct that? Because that's where we've actually lost yards. Is the blocking of the tight end and the fullback was actually it was very apparent today, while the offensive line played a pretty decent game. So I just want to know what you guys' feedback is on that. That was the one area I feel like we still need to improve in terms of blocking overall. But Bobby, you can go first. We have to go.
Yeah. So, again, I think that probably goes. I mean, it goes in all of them, but it's Frank Smith who's our coach.
Ralphie boy.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna bring up Ralph's point here in a second. But I just want to say, I think that falls with Frank Smith, and that's something they got to work on. The positive thing about that is that they are 8-3. But let me make this perfectly clear for Ralph's comment. Are you guys critics or fans? And first off, Ralph's my stepfather, everybody. So Ralphie boy, love you, man.
I gave him a hug when I saw him.
I know. So are you critics or fans as to a suck a little here and there? Can you guys imagine when they put it all together? That's what we said. First of all, yes, we are fans. We buy merchandise. We represent the team.
We're allowed to boo.
We're allowed to say what bothered us in this. And you know what? We are 8-3, but also we were 8. Let me just make this preference. We were 8-3 last year, and what happened? Remember that 5-game drop off because of a lot of the errors. But here's the difference between this 8-3 team and the last year's 8-3 team. Look what the defense is doing. Look how the defense is gelling. They're making up for Tua's mistakes because Tua threw 2 interceptions, and we didn't have this defense that saved. We probably would have lost this damn game in MetLife today. Yeah. All right. So yes, you could be a fan, but that you could be a critic and yet still be a fan. There's nothing wrong with being a critic. Love you, Ralph. Ralph knows that. But I just want to say the Dolphins are in good hands. We're
number 1, baby.
We got the Commanders next week. We're going to be 9-3. Okay, we're the number one. Look, we're the number 1 team in the East right now. Today, we're the number 1 team in the AFC, but we know that could be short-lived. That's because until everybody else plays, if they all lose, we're golden. Do you think you could beat Dallas?
100%.
Yes.
You're
100%.
Right.
We're undefeated at home.
Well, we'll wait till we get there.
Yeah, Dallas sucks. We're going to beat them.
But I appreciate you guys. Fins up. Fish Tank and I will be back tomorrow at noon Eastern. We'll talk more Dolphins versus Jets, and we'll talk more Dolphins and Commanders and throughout the season. Fins up. See y'all later.
Love you, buddy.
Appreciate y'all.
So
honestly,
so you could both go. I just want to know. I want to know both your opinions because that was an issue last year, and it seemed apparent today. If you were as you guys were watching the game, so tell me what you guys are thoughts in terms of the blocking in that case when it comes to our tight ends, and because that's why we didn't want to keep Gesicki. So, what are your thoughts on Smythe and Connor and Croft and Hill and Ingold right now?
Go ahead, Mike.
If I'm Chris Greer, I pick up the phone and I call Mr. Gronkowski and say, any interest?
Yeah.
Any interest? We could be really, really good with you. And you're a very good blocker. Any interest? Any? Yeah. And bring him out of retirement. That was a big concern during the draft process, wanting to find a big physical tight end to bounce around and block.
Darnell Washington, anybody?
I think Smythe is our best tight end, but again, like he's not the best blocker in the world. He did decent, that. That's why I really liked Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame, because I felt like he was a good blocker. And then also we had mentioned Darnell Washington out of Georgia too. So I want to, I'm going to get on the draft process soon and kind of grind some tape on some tight ends, find out who the most physical tight end is coming out this year. So
absolutely. Hank, what are your thoughts on it?
My thoughts are the same as before the season started. We need better tight ends. It's that simple. Like you're saying, we can't block a paper bag. You got to be able to. You got to be able to block in this game, and when you don't have it, your running game's going to suffer. I'm surprised that our running game is so good.
167
to be honest
yards.
with you. What's
So
that?
honestly, like if you're talking tight ends, do I want a tight end that can catch, or do I want one that's more physical and can block? I mean, especially with that running back, like you want him to be able, with a tight end, you want him to be able to block, right? Like,
yeah,
you're only going to get one or two passes thrown your way anyway. So let's get somebody in there that can grind. I might hit up old Gronk on the old X machine. And see if I can.
Well, by the way, if you happen to notice the game this past Monday, I just want to digress a little bit. You could see this past game. Let's see how good. I understand he's also a pass catcher, but let's see how good Lamar Jackson is without Mark Andrews. Let's see. Did you happen to notice what happened to the offense? I understand how good AJ Brown is and how good Devontae Smith is. Did you happen to notice the difference in the Eagles' offense without Dallas Goedert on Monday? A tight end is a key piece to your team. Luckily, we have stars on the outside, but having a good tight end is an important aspect of your team. Look at the Chiefs. Without Kelsey, where would they be? Let's talk about the receivers today. Hill did his job today, but the guy who stood out to me today, good for him. He made every more difficult catch. He didn't drop anything. Jalen Waddle. People are saying how miserable he looked because he wasn't getting the ball lately. 8 receptions, 114. The guy was making every difficult catch. What were your thoughts on how Hill and Waddle performed today? Hank, you go first.
How Hill and Waddle performed?
102, 8 for 4, 8 for 114 for Waddle.
Hill, 102. I mean, come on. You can't ask for more than that. He needs to average 106, and he averaged 102.
Yeah.
What more do you want from the guy? And then Waddle made some key plays, obviously. I don't have them all memorized like you guys. My gray matter doesn't last that long.
But do you remember the throw? You know what his best catch was? The best catch, I think, that was important. It actually worked. Tua was under pressure, and he repeated the Cedric Wilson throw, but it actually worked because Waddle knew where the ball was going, and he had to fight 2 or 3 defenders around him to get and he jumped for that ball, and he got it.
On the sidelines.
I liked when Waddle burned Gardner, too.
Oh, that
was
gorgeous.
like way past him. He had to actually slow down and get the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, so that was a phenomenal throw and catch by Tua and Waddle also that I enjoyed. Yeah. So I think they did a great job. They came in, they did their thing. I was concerned when I saw Hill go down because of his ankle or foot. It looked like his ankle to me, but I'm no doctor, so and I was concerned about that because he is such a huge key to this offense. And without him, I don't think we'd do half as good, to be honest with you.
No, absolutely. Michael, overall, what are your thoughts on? Did you see that? Well, Hill caught the football with his shoe because DJ Reed literally stepped on him. His shoe was untied while he was running.
Yeah. I was going to say that's the one area I would like to see us improve on is throwing to Waddle some too. Yeah. But it seemed like they had about a same type of game today. Although,
did you see that today, by the way?
Yeah,
he lost a chunk of his arm today.
But
get that repaired.
A lot of times, I feel like, especially on some of those under routes to Tua, like I feel like Waddle's wide open, and he's always going to Tyreek.
Yeah,
but I mean, as long as we're winning and the guys are happy, then disperse the ball.
Yeah. So we'll talk about some funny stuff towards the end, but let's talk about this defense. So as I said before, that I don't consider the garbage time. At one point before they went for that where Phillips got injured, then there was a Darrington Evans thing and all that. It literally we were giving up under 100 yards of offense. They had a total of 159 yards of offense, and a lot of it was in garbage time. 7 sacks, 8 tackles for loss. Let's just go over the key things. Raekwon Davis had half a sack, and Emmanuel Ogbah 1.5 sacks. Tristan Wilkins 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. Deshaun Hand had 1 sack and 1 tackle for loss. Jalen Phillips 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss. Jerome Baker. What was most amazing for me about the defense today, and then you guys would go. You didn't hear much from Chubb. You didn't hear much from Ramsey. You didn't hear much from X. You know what that tells you? For me, before
That the
not
running-
every. That's how good our defense is. That some
Yeah.
players can just do their job, be quiet, and let other people shine. But
Well-
Hank, you have Vogel. You go first. The way this defense shined today,
Yeah.
Christian Wilkins, like, did he earn his money? Like, what were your thoughts on how this defense just performed today overall? Like the spread out of all the. Jason Sanders had a tackle today.
I think the defense played very well. Granted, the Jets had zero offense, but they've been moving the ball on people. They've been running the ball on people. They just haven't been scoring touchdowns. They've kicked a lot of field goals. But I feel the defense is becoming very stout. It's what I expected from a Fangio defense. And like last week there were a lot of Dolphins fans that were upset because offense didn't play well and stuff. I mean, at the beginning of the year, I said Fangio is going to win us at least 3 games. And I feel like last week was one of those games where Fangio's defense stepped up, and he's worth that win. That could easily gone the other way had we had last year's defense. And I feel like every game they're getting more stout and more stout and more stout, and you're seeing more guys step up. Now we're definitely going to have somebody step up since Phillips is going to be out. But
Van Ginkel.
Yeah, you
Agba-
mentioned last week, Mike, but this week the same. The defense stepped it up and got us the game.
Yeah,
there were many times in the past where, even if you go in 10-0 at the half against New York like that, I wasn't feeling good at all. And then I went and did the dishes and came back and was like, oh, how did we get 17 points? And then saw and it's always something in New York, right? It's always the butt bowl or the Hail Mary, I guess they're calling it now.
They're calling the fail. No, there's Fail Mary,
The Fail
the
Mary.
Bot Buffalo, and and Marino's fake spike.
Fake spike, yeah. Yeah, so I'm very, very
I
impressed with the defense.
I watched that fake spike, and I hear about it all the time. You know what I mean? But I was sitting there on my couch going, he's gonna spike, he's gonna fake it, he's gonna fake it, as they were running down the field to throw the ball. Yeah. I was like, he's gonna fake it, he's gonna fake, and sure enough, they fake spiked it, and that was a touchdown. And that's all I've heard is like how nobody knew it was gonna happen. I'm like, some people out there saw it coming. Because if I did, that means some other people had to see it, because I'm no genius. We all know that.
I don't. By the way, before I get to Hank, there's Leonard, there's Barnett. They've also even what's his name? Fancho brought up Akeem Hicks in his press conference. There's a lot of options there, but I think you might see another offensive lineman, obviously, because if Armstead's going out and Lamb is going out, and there's such a who knows what's happening with Jackson, maybe get suspended, who knows? I don't know if there'll be a fine there. You see what's going on a little on the defense. As you head into the trenches of December, you better sign someone. But Hank, I want to give you the time now, because going back many weeks, even going to that Philly game, you have been hesitant to put, as such a positive guy, very hesitant with this defense. Have they turned you around, and what has turned you around about this defense? And
it's simple. Once Ramsey came back, it's really that simple. Because once you brought that piece in, now we can rush. Now we can do this. Now we can do that. Now we can bring people in and get them rested. Now we can, just putting that one piece back on the field, Ramsey, that changed the whole dynamics of this defense in my eyes, because that's exactly what I said once we got them back. Okay, now the defense can do all kinds of stuff,
Yeah.
And it's true. They're showing that they can do it. It doesn't matter if it's Chubb in there, Wilkins, Holland, Kohu, Ramsey, X. Everybody's in there. Everybody's accountable for what they're doing, and they're showing up and playing out right now. And I think a big part of that is having a complete group. And we have 2 of the best corners in the league, and Ramsey is obviously one of the top 5 at least. So I like where we're at with the whole thing, to be honest with you.
So I want to ask Michael this question because I actually made this brash comment. Bobby thinks I didn't say it this way, but I actually said I made a comment on right before the Patriots game because I said that's when Ramsey should come back. That he's as valuable to the offense as Tyreek Hill is to the defense as Tyreek Hill is to the offense. Is that too much of a statement?
No, I was going to bring that up too while Hank was talking. That's what I was in my head. Like, he is that spark, that vocal piece in the defense that, he's going to make everything you ask him to do, he's going to attempt to do at the best visibility. I don't think he's going to complain. Like, for him to be playing right now after blowing out his knee at the beginning of the season, like, are you kidding me?
That's amazing.
Like, some people just, like it really is. It feels like it's
interceptions,
and he comes back and gets 3 interceptions.
But also you were Hank. You were there at that game. I haven't spoken to you. You were there. Those 2 interceptions were no gimmies. He had to go for that ball, and he knew when he went to get that ball in the end zone, he was landing hard on that.
Yeah. I talk about getting some air though. Talk about hang time. Have you watched that?
He wasn't even in the original picture. Like, on TV, like, you see him going down. It wasn't in the original picture. Next thing you know, you see him flying through the air with the greatest of ease.
Yeah, I
love that play.
Scotty,
that was as good as the Grimes play where Grimes went way up and caught it with one hand backwards.
Yeah.
And, I thought that grab was better than another grab they show all the time, but Grimes went way up there and took it out. And same type of thing, same type of deal, except he used 2 hands. That was a phenomenal catch.
Scotty read my mind, and I was actually going to bring this up, but Scotty's reading my mind. One of the issues I think we've talked about many times, Hank and I have spoken about it, Vogel, you and I spoke about it a lot, is his ability to be great at not great tacklers. Tell me what Cater Kohu does that all the other players should emulate. Because Hank, I'm sure you saw it too. On those 3rd and 2s, he's able on his own. He's no big guy. This guy tackles, and when he has a hand on you, you're not going nowhere. What is he doing that other players on this team should emulate to tackle, Michael? Like, what is he doing? Like,
it's just it's a mindset, and he wants to be the corner that in open space when you're going to throw how many times did New York throw it? They threw the little screen out there to the running back, and every single time he was downhill making a tackle. Like, it's just his mindset, and I think that he really, really focuses on that in practice and wanting to be one of the best open field tacklers, because he really is. Like, it is amazing.
Yeah.
There you go. You just heard it.
Yeah.
You don't need to hear from me the second time.
No, it's absolutely incredible. But every player, I think, just did their part today. Like, and honestly, like, who do you think is if it's actually what we all expect, which is a torn Achilles? I know it's a big loss. We know Chuck. Who do you think that is? Who do you think is going to be the guy to step in? Is it going to be Van Ginkel, Hank? Is it going to be Ogba? Who do you think is really? You think he's really? Because he had a good game. He had a good game.
I truly believe he's going to step up and bigger than people know.
Because they've been playing Van Ginkel at middle, right?
Yeah.
I saw today he's been playing middle, so I think it's going to be a combination of those two. But I think Ogba will start there, and Van Ginkel will be in the inside linebacker, and kind of go from there. So,
yeah,
absolutely, Steve Kohu playing football 101.
Okay. Before I get to the studs and duds of the game, I just wanted to see where we can improve. Did you see them? I thought this was 2 funny things. Did you see this? Did you see them? Amazon Prime spending about 2.5 minutes for figuring out McDaniel's wardrobe. The fact.
Oh yeah.
The Air Force
is the red? What's the red thing?
I don't understand. I have no idea.
That's probably because when they made a certain kind of sneaker, it came with that red thing on it, and he never took it off.
Just
it's one of those ties. It's like a tie strap. But the capris, it's freaking New York in the 40-degree weather, 45-degree weather. He's wearing capris. It's just.
I love it. He's his own dude, man. He's his own dude, and I love it.
Did you see his reaction? Did you see his reaction when he was like when they kicked the touchdown? He was running on the field with the players. It's crazy.
Yeah, with the pick six.
Yeah, and by the way, I really do think. Tell me if you think I'm wrong, Hank. I really think that Tua's confidence at the end of the game, not getting down on himself, and even after those interceptions, is Mike McDaniel. Like, Mike McDaniel will not let this kid fall apart.
No, he won't. He
So-
won't. He's a great coach, great mentor for him. He's been around some of the best in the business, Mike McDaniel. And you learn how to not only coach, but you learn how to manage people and you learn how to relate. And he is on the highest level of relating to his players, in my opinion. He is an upper echelon of that type of person. And when you have that type of person in your building, they do nothing but great things. And I think that's where we're at with Mike McDaniel. I couldn't give him enough accolades at this point in time. This offense is completely turned around. Yeah, we have a track team on our offense, absolutely. But look what he's calling, though. Look at the plays. He's not just using speed. He's using everything. And I love it. I love seeing the originality.
If you haven't seen it, you need to go to the quarterback school.
JT O'Sullivan.
JT O'Sullivan.
He's great.
Dude,
Amazing.
he draws up and just talks about, and like Tua is like in the midst of throwing the ball, and Tyreek's not even out of his break, and he's going to throw it to the middle of it. Just the way he draws it up and defines it. Like if you're a Dolphins fan and you're down on Tua, watch that to understand what he's really doing, because there's not another quarterback that has the anticipation that, in my opinion. Now, I'm a little biased, but
Mike McDaniel Mike McDaniel even said to a lot of people, if he throws an interception, but he made the right throw, that's not a bad throw. If the guy ends up tricking you or the guy ends up getting to the ball, but if you put it in the right place and the receiver couldn't get it, that may be on me for the bad play call, but you did your job. I'm asking you to put it there. Put it there. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Like the interceptions today were not backbreakers because of just because who we were playing. But in the end, I didn't want him to make those mistakes. But they fumbled the football, whatever. In the end, they found ways to overcome it. But that's what a team is, right? When you get down, your team picks you up. Because for the first couple of weeks, the defense couldn't stop a cold, and the offense won them football games. So it's a bit of a yin and a yang.
Yes.
I feel like in the beginning of the year, we had to put points on the board because we weren't sure when the defense was going to come along. Now that the defense is coming along, I don't feel like we have to put up 45 points a game.
No.
You know, putting up 30 points a game, even with a pick six, you know, like I'll take that, because not many teams are going to be able to hang with you like that. And then with this stout defense that's developing. So I just hope we have enough depth on both sides. So.
By the way, did you guys happen to see, I don't know if you saw the post game, if you go look on Twitter, did you happen to see Christian Wilkins go at those sandwiches?
Oh my God, yeah.
Did you see him go at he took the whole tray with him. This guy, honestly, no matter what I want to take a minute for him, because no matter how difficult we were, the guy is on pace for 10 sacks, I think, this year after today.
Yeah.
The guy as a leader after a game in the locker room, the emotional impact he has on this team, the camaraderie he has. He's the first guy to run to you and give you a high five after every play. That is, no matter what, today, I was hard on him about maybe he doesn't deserve 15 cents. The way he's playing, he's putting his money where his mouth is. Ramsey's obviously helping that to give him more confidence to get to the ball. Yeah. But this guy has a motor on him. And he does it, by the way, they talked about Max Crosby. Him and Sealer do not come off the field a lot either.
They don't. I kept looking to see if he was off the field, and I never saw him come off the field.
No. So what are your thoughts, Hank? Did you think he's earned a little bit more respect from the people who are saying he's not a $20 million defensive lineman?
You know, one of my excuses, I want to call it, to not give him the money was the fact that he wasn't getting after the quarterback enough.
Yeah.
But I felt like that was a defensive unit issue. Yeah. Not just a Christian Wilkins issue. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And once we got Phillips in there and you added your cornerbacks again, things started to change completely. And his abilities are starting to show through with the other players that you have on the team. You know, he can get after the quarterback. Sure he can. Just like anybody else on the defensive tackle. But guess what? He has that motor. He has that energy. He brings a team together even when it's not doing that great, he'll still be out there joking around and, trying to cut it up and bring people up. So I like what he's done. And at this point in time, you can either give him the money or not, but they also say, even as great as he's doing, everybody can be replaced.
Mm-hmm.
Would you tag him?
I would keep him somehow.
No, would you sign him or tag him?
I would sign him, but knowing Miami, they might.
Let me ask you.
I hope I like the way Mr. Ross does his business, and I don't think they'll stick it to Christian Wilkins. How's that? I don't think they will.
Go away.
And I think I think putting a franchise tag would definitely dishearten him quite a bit, especially after the season that he's currently having right now. He's, like you said, he's on pace to get, what was it, like 10 sacks?
But after the first sack, he was on pace for 8.5. Now he's on pace for 10.
Yeah. So
it's pretty amazing.
Yes, it is. And with everything else that he does across that line, he runs players down the field, runs them down the field half the time.
Yeah.
Well, he had the key block for the touchdown.
No, for Holland's touchdown.
Yeah,
he ran down the dude
the running
and
back,
blocked him.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I wonder if he can play any offensive guard.
Remember they used.
That's a good question.
Remember they used to use him as fullback. Remember sometimes on the front yard line he wanted the ball. He wanted to go play fullback. Yeah. Overall, before I get to the studs and duds, there was one other topic. Okay, so let's talk about the Phillips injury. Because we talk. How concerned are you about the whole turf situation? Like, what is as a football player right now? Your kids play on grass, or you're on turf? Where you play?
No, we're on natural grass, but there's a lot of teams that are going to turf, and I mean, just natural grass. I've just seen.
And what are you taking your kids to go play on that? Would you have concerns? Has there been any pushback at your level? Or not?
I think high school football is much different than pro football.
Yeah, of course.
I just think the fields are even the turf fields in high school are a little bit different than what the pros are playing on. And I just think that with that many injuries, especially in that state, I don't know what it is about that stadium and people.
I know what it is. They're constantly pulling that turf because they're using it for the Giants. They're using it for the Jets. They're putting concerts in there. They're constantly that thing about Hard Rock. Hard Rock is pretty much used very often. For most of the season, it's Hurricanes and it's Dolphins. Yeah. That's it. And there's once in a while a little thing here and there, but it's mainly used for football.
Right.
So that's that part of it, and also the weather. Obviously, I think has an effect on it also, right? But let's talk about. Is there any before I even give me, Hank, your 3 standout? I know there was a lot of standouts. Who your 3 standouts? And you don't have to name me 3 people that were studs, but like anyone you feel like still needs to improve.
Could have done better.
Yeah, could have done better. Like give the positive, obviously, because we're bandwagoners.
Let's start with the deltas then, or the cons.
Yeah.
All right. And that would have to be Tua's ball play tonight. I didn't like it. I'm not a tough critic on Tua either way. I'm not super pro Tua. I'm not anti-negative Tua. I'm one of those guys that just hope he plays good. You know what I mean? I hope the guy does good. He's on our team. He's our quarterback. That's where I am with Tua for everybody out there. So, but he had a bad game tonight, in my opinion. It happens, Yeah. It happens. But luckily, our defense, and here's the bright side, we had Phillips. We had Holland. We had, on the offense, we had Waddle. We had Tyreek Hill. So those are my 4 to 5 that I would throw out there to give you a few names. I'm not going to break down everything they did. No. Everybody saw it. So,
Michael?
Well, the positive, I'm going to go obviously with the offensive line. When you've played another strong defensive team that has a strong front 4, and you hold up pretty well, and you're able to run the ball, especially. I think they're worthy of that. Waddle, I want to give some shout out to Waddle and the game he had, and the defense. I mean, the defense just played well. And my one dud is Evans, the running back.
Darrington Evans, yeah.
Dude, if you're on the practice squad and you got an opportunity to play, you hold on. You don't blame that on Tua. You figure out a way to hold on that damn ball and make something out of it. This is your one chance to shine, and now
He's done.
You know,
He's done.
yeah. Now you fumble and nobody knows. And then
Yep.
Evan, like you said, the tight. I would like to see us figure out the tight end situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel at this point, if Achane is, I'm happy they kept him out in this kind of game.
I agree.
If he's not ready to come back next week, I understand we have only two left IR callbacks for the rest of the year, but I would use it on Brooks. If Brooks is ready at any point,
yeah,
the kid played well. We need another thumper up that middle because when it gets cold and we're going into these games in December. Also, one thing I don't want to, but that's the thing. I think McDaniel has to feel comfortable enough that in those 2-minute offenses that his running game or 4-minute offense that his running game will give it.
Yeah.
And you even saw today, Mostert still has a bit of a ball security issue.
Right.
And
but
so
you said, Wilson had a good day today.
Yeah, Wilson.
There's another.
But we need three. We need to go into the playoffs. You need your top four. You need Brooks. You need Achane. You need Mostert. You need Wilson. In these games, you have to have depth there. Because if it wasn't for the depth at wide receiver at the offensive line, Keon Smith, Liam Eichenberg. People criticize Eichenberg Express as much as you want. He's played all 5 positions. You want to know what? If you didn't have Eichenberg this year, you'd be in a lot of trouble because Robert Jones has been injured.
In that aspect.
Hey, I've torn up on Eichenberg quite a bit. So,
he was great today.
It hasn't been unwarranted, the fact that he hasn't played well either. So,
no,
I'm not going to throw all flowers his way.
But he was great today. He did his job today.
He did a great job today. I'm not going to,
after
away.
After today's day, we're number 1 temporarily. We talked about this on Bandwagon that I said I made a prediction. I think you were concerned about the Titans game. At this point right now, the way they played the last 2 games, the sense of I think these were tough games just to get over after a bye and then going into MetLife. That was a game that concerned us a little bit also. We thought we were going to split with the Jets. How more confident are you that we can get to that 11 before Dallas? Are you more confident right now? Are you still feeling the same? Are you less because I know you had the concern with the Titans game. How are you feeling about this team getting to winning to this division and winning the next 3 games that they're expected to win? How do you feel after today?
I feel good about it still. But the only problem is you lost Phillips, and Ogba isn't as good against the run as Phillips.
Okay. Sorry. But are you still? If you had, but right now you still feel good that you still have a little fear about the Titans game, but you're confident though that the team is still finding its groove, and that the next 3 games should.
Oh yeah, I feel confident in our team, but I still have reserves for whatever reason. I just have reserves on the Titans game.
Michael.
They have a running game, and everybody says we've stifled the running game and this and that. But if you watch the games, it's not like we were really shutting people down until recently. Within the past couple weeks, we've really come alive on defense, to be sure. But before, I didn't think we were smashing it. But we've been holding under 100 yards. We've been holding people, so. You can't complain about that either, but that's not Derrick Henry, and that's where I wonder how strong is Miami's front line, and I don't know yet. They haven't really been tested like that, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. Mike, we were 8-3 last year. Bobby talked about it a little before, heading into the next 3 games, because December's coming, right? December's coming. The next time we play, it will be December. And we know what happens to the Dolphins sometime in December. Is this the same 8-3 team, or is this a team that you fully expect to have 11 wins Christmas Eve?
I think it's a different 8-3 team. I don't think it was the same 8-3 team last year. I mean, you're in week 11 and Tua's still healthy. He hasn't, knock on wood, he hasn't taken any crazy shots. He's bailing out. He's when people are hitting him, he's either, he's got some way of falling out of it, so it's not going crazy. So the fact that we're 8-11, 8-3 right now, out of those 11 games, he's been healthy. Your defense is much more stout than last year's defense was, and going against the Jets again, and who do we have next week? Commanders.
We have the Commanders, and they also they are struggling on defense after they got torched.
Yep.
Jack Del Rio's been fired
as well
as their defensive backs coach. So they're struggling on defense.
So I'm much more confident. Now I'm not going to go out there and say we're definitely going to be 11-3, but I definitely feel like we have potential because again, like we have not played a complete game. I want to see the offense do well without any turnovers, and then see the complementary on the defense and to see what that looks like. So, hopefully that shows up against the Cowboys or the Bills or whoever. So
unfortunately, I've been saying that a while that they haven't played a complete game.
Right.
I think it goes back to our first show we ever did together.
It's just I haven't seen that balance, Michael. Right. I haven't seen it. I don't see
I would feel much better about the game today had we not had the 3 turnovers.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think those 3 turnovers, like if you said take those 3 turnovers out of it, you only give up a touchdown, and possibly put up even more points on
this
the
could have
back
been a shutout, guys.
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
This could have been a shutout. No turnovers. This is a shutout because all their points were scored on turnover as a result of turnovers.
Yep.
So, we're number 1. How confident are you?
Uno.
How confident are you with the complexity of the AFC where we thought? How confident are you right now today? On a scale of 1 to 10, Michael, that this team can get the number 1 seed. Are you 10 being that you are 100% confident that they're going to get it, or like what are your thoughts on what gives you any hesitation but what's your confidence level after today?
Well, my confidence level is high. I don't know if I'll put it at a 10.
No, of course.
But this AFC picture is crazy, dude. We got quarterbacks dropping like flies. You've got the Bills losing to teams they don't need to be losing to. I'm not sold that the Chiefs are going to go into Las Vegas and come out with a win. I have not been impressed with Kansas. I wasn't impressed with Kansas City when they played us.
They can't catch a ball.
One bad interception that in other games is an incomplete pass. For instance, today when we had that the first down that they said was an incomplete pass. It was, in my opinion, it was almost the exact same play that Tyreek had that they turned into a touchdown in Germany. So I'm not sold on those guys. And like you said, I want to see the Ravens without Mark Andrews. I want to see what that looks like. So I'll 7.5, 8 is like I'm feeling like dude, anything's possible right now. Like the AFC is so wide open right now. Like
I was thinking 7-8 myself, and it was all because of the Baltimore game.
Yeah.
That Baltimore game is going to be our a real test on the road. So we'll see. I'm feeling good about it, but
I'm like this because I'm going to New York the first week of January.
Yeah.
And I was going to stay in upstate New York before going to New York on the 1st. But if it's an actual important game, I'm taking the whole family because it's only 3 hours away. Where I'm going to be staying is 3 hours away from New York City the night before. I'd rather drive the 10 hours because it might actually get flexed. So I'm trying to figure that out. I will spend the money and I will go down to Baltimore, which is only 3 hours from New York. I will drive the 9 hours, and I will go to that Baltimore game. If that's a critical game for the Miami Dolphins to solidify the number 1 seed.
If I can find money, man, it is so tempting. It's only a 5-hour drive for me. It's so tempting.
If I go, I'll let you know.
I don't have that kind of money. I have season tickets, so I'm tapped.
I have no money. I'll put it to you this way. I have no money except when it comes to the Miami Dolphins.
I used to say that. And now my checkbook says, hold on a minute. You want to watch the Miami Dolphins again next year? I don't know about that.
Okay. No, but honestly, guys, the one thing that was actually, we were worried about the short week. Short week, this 9-day layoff is huge for this team.
Yeah.
Holland's knee, the Hill's ankle, A-Chain's ankle, figure it out. I honestly,
Was Holland's injury that he went into the tent for, was that head related or was that
no
his
knee?
ankle?
His knee.
Oh, it was. I thought it was his. I thought that's why it was.
He was fine at the end of the game. But actually, before we head out, any final words? Because guys, don't forget to like, subscribe. We appreciate everyone who's watching. We love everything that's going on in the comments. We love it. You heard what Holland had to say at the end of the game, talking about the family. We're a family in this community. Have you? And Have you guys? Did you guys watch Hard Knocks at all? You haven't had a chance to catch Hard Knocks.
I tried to watch it, but I don't have I have HBO where it shows it
Hank,
when it's coming
YouTube.
on.
Hank, YouTube. Just go on YouTube, type in the word Hard Knocks.
They've got the full.
There's
already
about 50 people who have posted it. The next morning, because in Canada we can't get just literally the morning after. You just type in Hard Knocks, the episode's
and you'll get it. Yep.
You'll get it. Yep. You saw this whole thing where I understand people are saying, well, it's reality TV, but you got to see they do this whole thing with the cakes. With the defensive players, that each one who gets a sack gets a cake. Campanelli was going bananas. Like I picture Vogel yelling at his team that way. But no, the camaraderie of what Holland even said about Phillips Day, the camaraderie of this family. Like you happen to see the sense that unlike a team, what Mike McDaniel has done for this team is the whole family orientation. How you're willing to literally go through a wall for each other. That's what I saw today. It was that I had a feeling when Holland, even when Tua gave those interceptions, that defense was going to bail him out. Like it didn't matter. The defense was going to bail him. Like Hank, what do you feel with that? Like it's just watching this team on the field. Do you have that sense? Like this?
I love it.
There's no fear. There's no fear. There's zero fear.
It comes from the top down. Like I said before, you have a Mike McDaniel in the building with all of his savvy and smart, his background, everything that this man has. He has the ability to lead other men. And having that ability makes them all just go right together and say, okay, we got each other's back. We're a family. And that has come from the coaching staff down. It is filtered. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. Michael, you're into this. You do this all the time. Like, what are you seeing from this team that's just different? Like just the family. Every time they do a thing, it's family. Like what is it about this team?
I want a good thing to do is go watch the Joe Philbin Hard Knocks.
Oh God!
And then watch the one from Monday, and you can see the difference. It's more relaxed. The quote that McDaniel has about being your what's he call it? Your unrelenting self or
unrelenting self,
whatever it is. Like
with adversity comes opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. Like your unrelenting self, be you in every form. I don't care that. And you can just see like guys who, they're shooting basketball before the team meeting and stuff. Yeah. So it looks different. Like you just see the two clips they had they showed, there was two clips put together. It was a Joe Philbin one the day they cut Chad. Yeah. And then there was a Mike Vogel. The Mike McDaniel clip right next to it about, the first running and stuff. Gets you hyped, man. You can see that it's a different feeling. The quarterbacks and even though Tua doesn't enjoy the camera, like he was so like without him, him knowing the camera's there, he just seems so relaxed, just he was himself and doing his stuff. So
I must tell you, I love cornroll Christian Wilkins. I'm happy that there's no more cornroll Tua. Let's just put it that way. Those cornrolls had to go.
Yeah.
Hank, you got to see it in Hard Knocks. You're obviously going to watch it. But I got to see something that was just pretty amazing. Tell us, because I think you got to experience it. Stephen Ross, for people criticize, you've always bragged about the fact that this guy's how incredible is it for this team to have the facilities that they have? You got to see those facilities in person. Is it really what you see on TV? It looks like this team has every single thing you could possibly think of and more in those facilities. It's absolutely
Mr.
incredible.
Ross spares no expense on giving these guys the best of everything.
It looks like a 5-star hotel.
Yeah, it's truly amazing just to look at.
Yeah.
Take a tour if you get a chance. Take a tour, go through there and see what it's all about. But it is phenomenal. I gotta admit, I haven't seen a facility that nice, and they've done a lot of upgrades to everything between the F1 series, the tennis, and they have a lot going on. The soccer and the college games. They do a lot there. I wish I lived closer, to be honest with you, because it's a 3-hour drive for me, and that's a long drive there and back for a day, and I usually get a hotel overnight, so it's easier when I watch the game. But, they do a lot. They support a lot. They have a fight against cancer. I really like the Dolphins organization and what Mr. Ross represents as far as taking care of his people. He is one of those types of gentlemen that makes sure he takes care of his people if they're on staff. Now, Greer might wheel and deal, and they might have other issues between players and payments. But Mr. Ross always opens that checkbook.
Oh, no matter what.
Always opens the checkbook and says, "Let's win.
Let's win."
So I can't complain about somebody like that.
Well, take your time.
Yes,
No, I was
sir.
about to ask you. I was about to pass it on to you. Go ahead.
No, I just real quick. I got a jet. I got to go pick up Finn at his buddy's house. But I appreciate you guys letting me on tonight. It was great.
Any final words? Any final words? How you're gonna enjoy? You're gonna enjoy the Sunday, knowing that your team is 8-3, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm about to go get dinner too, Michael.
We're about to run it out in 30 seconds.
8-3, sitting pretty in the AFC East right now. Knowing that we could potentially have the AFC wrapped up in a couple weeks. I'm not jumping ahead of anything. I'm just saying, the Bills kind of got a they kind of got a gauntlet now. They got to have the Eagles.
Who are they
this
playing?
Week. Eagles.
Eagles in Philly this week.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, so and to be able to have a playoff game at home for the first time in God knows for how long
my God.
would be helpful, and even potentially home field advantage throughout would be amazing too. So
Does that mean I
Fins
should
up,
get
baby.
extra tickets if they offer them to me?
I already told you I'm taking that ticket. By the way, I just want to make a point before Vogel has to go to give you guys, everyone watching, a pause. People can criticize the Miami Dolphins for not beating great teams so far this year. All you have to do is win your games, get to the playoffs. Because which team, Michael, on offense does the league and everyone compare us to?
The
The
Chiefs.
greatest show on turf. No, the greatest show on
Oh
turf.
yeah.
Go back and look at every win they had in the regular season. Not one winning team. They did not beat a winning franchise.
Yeah, but you know how rare that is.
But the Dolphins are rare in their own like.
Yeah.
So we're rare. We're special.
Rare.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. By the way, we're going to beat plenty of winning teams. We're going to win the last 3. I'm not that worried. We're going 14-3, baby, because Fish Tank predicted 14-3 way before the season started. So
before training camp, I said 15.
Then
after training camp, I said it's 13.
You'll hedge your bet in the middle. Mike, say one more minute. Any final words?
No, I still think we have a possibility to get 13.
Any final words? Because I want to go out with both of you. Any final words before I say to everyone, like and subscribe and fins up?
No, man, I'm just excited. This has been a fun year. It's fun to watch the fellas on TV.
It's awesome, and I'm going to go out for some victory dinner.
There you go.
I got some victory children. I have to go clear hundreds of orders. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Go to Caneswear. Great sponsor. Fins up, everybody. Big win, guys. Fins up, everyone.